Hey guys, I wanted to talk about default setting for people who grew up with trauma. And people who grow up with trauma are very used to being in a situation where their comfort zone is the trauma. So as they become adults and they get involved in relationships and friendships, this default setting remains, causing all kinds of issues because for someone who's experienced trauma, what feels normal is what they kind of navigate towards naturally. So if, for example, things are going really well, in the correct sense, if everything's at peace, you're enjoying your time together, um, you really feel valued. And then all of a sudden, you might feel like something is terribly wrong. And this feeling of something is terribly wrong might not be a conscious feeling, but it does disrupt the peace that you are enjoying in a relationship or a friendship. And immediately bringing you back to your default setting. And I myself have cycled through this many, many times. And there are aspects of my relationships in which I still do that. And still, every once in a while, if I sort of forget to check in, I go right back to these default settings. So the question then is, how do we step out of it, seeing as it's almost like a fish that's in water and is not aware what water is, right? That is what someone who's experienced trauma might feel uh, when someone on the outside of their world tells them, that things are not right or things are not, things shouldn't be that hard. And that is another default setting for the person who's experienced trauma, is thinking that everything is always hard, everything is always difficult. And as much as the person who's experiencing it might argue against it, complain about it, that's probably all you hear from them. They're still like stuck in the situation like quicksand. So then, like I said, the question is, how do we then become aware of the situation in order to be on the outside of it, looking in, instead of being inside and not being aware? Uh, and as someone who has experienced that, who feels that anybody from the outside could not have possibly reached in and made me aware of it, it's only me that came to that realization through many years of, in essence, suffering or struggling through it. But what I do find helpful, or what I did find helpful that sped up the process of being able to break the cycle, is just being open to change, just being open to allowing yourself to be shifted. Because you have to admit that you don't know what you don't know. And I know people all around you might tell you that all of us are meant to be in peace and living in joy and abundance and all the wonderful things. Yet I remember thinking, how is that even possible? Like those those qualities of living are not part of my reality. Um, but the one thing that allowed things to slowly shift and shift and shift until all of a sudden I was out of it was being open, just open to new experiences. I'm always reading biographies, and biographies for me bring me so much hope because if I read a biography of someone that seemingly on the outside feels like, wow, like how did they get there? You read their biography, and oftentimes you find out that their past is um, equal or worse than what you've experienced. And therefore, that brings me hope that I too can kind of break these cycles that I grew up with. So, allowing yourself to be inspired, to be affected, to be touched by outside influences such as books, ideas, taking a class, um, anything, making art, picking up a new routine, and seeing how it goes. That's number one. Number two is becoming really aware of your likes and dislikes. And that's a tough one for someone who, well, I don't think it's trauma based. I think it's more cultural. In my culture, adults really don't ask kids, if they're enjoying something or if this is, kid friendly. It's just, you're just a kid and um, your needs, while they're important, do come second to like the adults. And that's just the way it is. It's not trauma per se, but because of that, we learn not to really listen to our needs. And we grow up in that same framework where we don't value or we don't listen to our inner voice. I am an art teacher, and when I work with students about their work, they're often turning outwards to check out with their friends what their friends think is cool or wonderful. And while that's great, they have no they have no um, understanding of what it feels like to choose. Choosing is not in their emotional vocabulary, at least not within the school walls. Um, and I understand that. That's, when you're teaching regular content, you do the worksheet that's provided to you. You're not going to just invent a new math problem, right? But so art is a whole new monster. It's different than your regular typical content. So, but it has allowed me to see that kids do not know how to check in. And those kids become adults who don't know how to check in. One tip that I have found that's been really helpful to allowing me to check in is putting my hand in my heart and um, asking myself if this activity, this endeavor, this project is something that I truly feel aligned with. And if not, allow myself to walk away from it. Um, and that has made a lot of difference, has created lots of shifts, allowed a lot of new spaces to open up. And my inner self, my higher self, is happy, is content because I am doing something to care for myself. Um, as you guys might know, I'm also an Akashic Records reader. And one of the images that I get often with many of my clients is the image of the arrow coming out and then coming back to yourself. And that symbol, that visual, demonstrates the need from the higher self to look inward and to use a lot of that energy that we're using to help and love and nurture our world towards ourselves. And that is one thing that I need to work on more is I care for people around me a lot, and I don't do enough of that for myself. So in 2026, that is one of my goals is to really tune in, put my hand in my heart, and in every choice I make, whether it's what I eat, where I go, what I do for fun, what movie I watch, who I spend my time with, I put my hand in my heart and ask myself, is this aligned with my my needs and what I want? Um, and and answering that question with the appropriate action. And it's been so good. It's been really good. So I look forward to shifting, slowly shifting, changing, and allowing more amazing, wonderful influences to come into my life this year. And I'm looking forward to further connecting with myself and getting to know who this person really is, because I spent many, many years really focusing my energy outwards and spinning my wheels, per se. And now I feel like I really want to grow the world and help the world from the inside out. So it start here, and changing the inner is going to help much more of the outward than I've been doing before. So that's my message for today. I hope that you resonate with it. Know that you are an amazing human being and you are here to do wonderful, great things. And put your hand in your heart. Take a long, deep, audible exhale. Inhale and exhale. And know that you are amazing. Until next time, see ya.